And indeed, Roland Carmichael not too happy with the opening round. He's way behind. It's a good bit, 4-1 in favor of Egan.
Second round. Round 2.
Second round. Now, what plan has Carmichael got for the second round? Because he's got to do something else. Egan has more or less been boxing the way he wants to box in the opening round, keeping the pace nice and tidy and not too fast. And he's a kind of boxer who counts the scores as he goes along. He knows exactly what's required. And if he can get into that pattern, making his man miss and then counter, he'll forge ahead. So Carmichael still not quite sure what it's all about. He hasn't really settled down. He's got a reach advantage, but hasn't really been able to use it properly. As he goes forward, Egan fades before him and then is quick to counter. Then slips inside, one good left hand to the body. Egan, difficult boxer to pin down, difficult boxer to hit. Boxed in the World Junior Championships. Also, he won a bronze in the European Cadets a couple of years ago. He's a reigning middleweight champion. And then close to spoiling. No real work being done there. Neither boxer prepared to take too many chances in close. So it's 21-year-old Egan against Carmichael, a few years older at 24. Carmichael, fresh from winning the Ulster title at a heavier weight division, and Kenneth Egan, the reigning champion at a lower weight division. And here they meet at light heavyweight, 81 kilos. Egan, an awkward sort of boxer. Punches well, tries to draw his man, then counters well with the right hand from time to time as he throws it out the second time. That's the end of the round, and it's tame enough, the boxing here, and Carmichael not quite sure what to do.
How are you feeling?
Well, I said in my introduction there that if Kenneth Egan has a bad night, he's really bad. But tonight he's having a good night so far. Conor Carmichael, on the other hand, is just not putting enough pressure on Kenneth Egan, because Michael Hawkins in the corner was telling Conor Carmichael, look, go and work hard on his body and put a lot of pressure on him. That's not happening. Conor Carmichael is just that little bit too slow. Kenneth Egan playing very, very cute and outboxing him all the time, beating him to the punch. He's carrying his right hand low, Kenneth Egan is, but he's so fast, his reflexes are so quick, he can afford to get away with it.
And indeed, he's forging ahead at 8-3 now.
Round 3.
And of course, Egan in blue here has the advantage of knowing that he can beat Carmichael, because he beat him before. In fact, that's when he really came to notice here a couple of years ago, when he beat the reigning champion at the time, Carmichael. Carmichael has been champion in the past, but he's been up and down for the last few years. Hasn't been competing all that much in top-class boxing. Egan has had a very busy 2 years, in which he's been making progress all the way along. Treats his contest almost like a chess game, trying to make his man make mistakes, and then he can counter. Carmichael wants to loosen it up a bit here, put pressure on Egan. It's not easy, particularly with this awkward southpaw style of Kenneth Egan. And Egan prepared to keep this at a slow pace. That's what suits him. Once you get your nose in front, stay there. He's up front by 5 points now, quite a considerable amount. That's quite a lead in this, the third round. Carmichael will have to change his tactics. He's got to do something, take chances, because he's not going to score from out far like that. Egan seems to be able to spot him every time he comes in. He's able to get out of the way quick enough and counter. And Egan will be the one to move away all the time now. He doesn't need to come forward anymore. He's so far in front of points now. It's up to Carmichael to make a fight of it. That's a wild one, way off target. But he's got to throw more of those, and maybe one of them might last. Now land and take the win for this. That's a little bit better from Carmichael. That's the only way he can get into this fight, by throwing big haymakers at the end of the third round. But he's got to do a little bit more. And Egan really pleased with himself as he goes back to his corner there. He knows he's way in front.
Well, Michael Hawkins there in the corner, and Conor Carmichael couldn't have a better man doing it there. But Hawkins will be asking him, as he did in the last round, to look, you know, let's get serious about this. Let's go all out. You know, take the fight to his man. But Conor Carmichael is too hesitant, and he's just being picked off all the time. Kenneth Egan, on the other hand, is a very, very happy man. He's very, very relaxed. You can see there carrying the hands very low, but Conor Carmichael is just not quick enough to cash in on the low defense of Kenneth Egan. You can only carry your hands low, as Kenneth Egan is doing, if your reflexes are very quick, and Kenneth Egan has those fast reflexes.
And indeed, he's building up more. Egan still forging ahead, and we shot them up at 4-11, so it's way behind now for Carmichael. Now, what did Michael Hawkins say to him this time in the corner? He's got to really do something special in this last round. Egan knows the score. They each know the score. And it looks as if it's going to be a repeat of a few years ago. Egan being the better man in the contest, but by a bigger margin this time. Because right from the word go, Egan has been in control in this contest here. Carmichael with a height advantage, and perhaps, I would think, a little bit of weight on his side as well, but hasn't been using it. His only chance is to try and keep Egan in one spot and land with some big punches, but no way can he get through. He's too slow, hasn't got the speed, and Egan is relaxed and comfortable all the way through here. Good exhibition of boxing here, not perhaps a great contest, because right from the word go, we feel we know who the winner is. Egan took control right from the start, and it looks as if he's going to coast his way to the finish in this final round. Carmichael from the Holy Trinity Club in Belfast, and Egan from Neilstown here in Dublin. The referee wants a bit of quiet there in Egan's corner. Egan doesn't need any more instructions now. He knows what he's to do. He's been doing it all the way through here. Carmichael tries southpaw. He'll do what he likes, but there's no way he can get in there. Switches back again. He's throwing the punches, and none of them are landing. Egan is only just using up time at this stage, because there can only be one winner in this, and we all know who it is. Popular boxer doing a slight bit of showboating perhaps in this last round. Who can blame him? Carmichael spoiling and holding when they're in close. And there it is, it's all over. And I think we all know who the champion is at light heavyweight. Yes, very pleased with himself there. Kenneth Egan, and a very disappointed Conor Carmichael. But Egan seems a clear winner.
Well, I've talked in the past about reading a fight well and having those quick reflexes and anticipating what's coming your way. Kenneth Egan does that so well. He is so difficult to fight because he did, and Noel said it there, he really did anticipate everything that Conor Carmichael was going to do. And no matter what the Hawkins brothers could do in the corner or Conor Carmichael, it was always going to be Kenneth Egan's night.
Ladies and gentlemen, yes, please put your hands together for both boxers. And the winner of that sponsored contest and holder of the Galway Boxing Club Perpetual Challenge Cup for the year 2003 by a computer scoring of 16 points to 4. And the new light heavyweight champion of Ireland, Egan, in the blue corner.
Yes, he's the winner. Clear cut, shot him up there, and comes out at 16-4. A clear winner in the final round. So he's champion once again, this time at light heavyweight, and a great win for his club and for all his followers here in Dublin.
Well, Kenneth Egan at the end of the third round there had appealed to the crowd here, to the Dublin crowd, to give him a bit of support. They responded to that, and he certainly responded with his performance here tonight and getting the congratulations, and rightly so, of his supporters and admirers. Coming up to the presentation stage then, where the guest of honour here tonight is on Taoiseach Bertie Ahern at the top table, just coming into your picture now. He is making the presentations here tonight with the officials here of the championship as well. Good win, as you said, Mick, for Kenneth Egan. Did well. As you said, when he boxes well, he boxes very well.
And he did box very well tonight, and Carmichael just wasn't able to put the pressure on to make Ken, because sometimes, you know, Kenneth Egan's problem is, Michael, he doesn't have enough confidence. I've said this to Kenneth himself.
Yeah.
He needs to be
He had it
confident.
tonight, though, in fairness.
He had the confidence. Well, he knew his hands were much faster, his reflexes were very, very quick, and I've watched him in sparring, and he's doing lots of sparring. A lot of people don't realise that Kenneth Egan is actually full-time boxing.
Yes.
And he's making a really good fist of it, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, well, as he accepts the congratulations and he's about to leave the ring, that's the cue then for the next contest. And Harry is about to introduce here in the hall, and that will be, Mick, between John Paul Kinsella from the Ballybrack club. That's out, of course, in South County Dublin. Not too far, actually, from my own house, would you believe? And he was going to take on Paul Baker from the Immaculata Club in Belfast. And they are being introduced to the ring now. What do you think of this one? How is this going to go?
Well, this is the 48 kilo one, which if you want it in pounds and ounces, it's 7 stone and 7 stone and 8 pounds. This should be one of the fights of the night. The referee won't have very much to do here. Baker is a tremendous hard puncher, but young Kinsella, last year's champion, is some fighter, Michael. He will throw punches to beat the band. It's going to be, I think, one of the fights of the night.
Yeah, there is young Baker now, just having the gloves checked just before he comes into the ring. Tough cookie.
Well, I think they need to check young Baker's gloves to see he doesn't have any knuckle dusters in him, because most of his fights, Michael, he wins inside the distance. He's a tremendous body puncher, and surely in the future he's going to be a professional fighter, because he's got that pro style. He will want to get close to young Kinsella, but Kinsella has had tremendous success boxing the World Championships last year, and he's going to take one hell of a beating here if Baker is going to be able to get to him.
Okay, that's the scene set then for our next contest coming up. This is at light flyweight, as we said, and that's our cue again to say hello to Noel Andrews once more.
Well, indeed, we're all set for this one, the light flyweight. And over to Harry in the ring, I think. There he is.
Boxer to the ring, please.
Paul Kinsella. Now this is Paul Baker from Belfast from the Immaculata Club.
Ladies and gentlemen, next contest of the evening, it's the light flyweight 48 kilogram division, and it's contested over 4 2-minute rounds. Now it features in the red corner this evening, representing the Ballybrack Amateur Boxing Club Dublin, would you please welcome to the stadium, J.P. Kinsella. His opponent across the ring in the blue corner, proudly boxes out of the Immaculata Amateur Boxing Club Belfast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stadium, Paul Baker. And your referee for this contest is Mr. John Sheridan Leinster.
Second out. Round one.
And away we go for round one. Round one. Red here is John Paul Kinsella from Dublin following, and Paul Baker from Belfast. Kinsella here with the knowledge that 2 years ago he beat Baker in the championships, and Kinsella is also the reigning champion. John Paul Kinsella. Ballybrack. Well, it looks as if Baker has decided he's going to chase his man on this contest. Baker's a good operator. He had plenty of underage experience. These are two young boxers, aged 20 and 21. 21, Kinsella. Fairly equally matched here, and it could be decided almost on the toss of a coin. Kinsella might have the edge in experience here, and international experience already, and the knowledge that he's the reigning champion. Baker's going to go for him in this opening round. Kinsella will try and pick him off, make him miss, and then counter as he did there. But he's got to land his punches more cleanly than that. Well, that's it. Already there's a pattern developing in this contest, with Baker coming forward, Kinsella trying to counter. And there he does, makes a miss with, and lands two good left hands. But Baker has decided, and his corner has decided, the only way to beat the fluid boxing of Jean-Paul Kinsella is to put pressure on him. And there's the end of the opening round, and it's fairly lively encounter already.
Well, Jean-Paul Kinsella, he should be happy enough, I think, with that round. He is certainly the faster boxer. It would be fair to say that Paul Baker, on the other hand, is most certainly the harder puncher. But John Kinsella is in really good shape. He's always very, very fit. He's working at the moment, but next year he goes to finish his exams next year, accountancy exams, that is. Just went on a little slip there, and certainly no punch at all. But Kinsella knows exactly what he has to do here. He knows he's got to avoid those hard punches from Paul Baker on the inside.
Give them confidence, and nice and steady, double the job up. Think for yourself.
Well, it's as even as it can be. 2 points each. 2 points apiece here at the end of the first round. So it's up for grabs now. Anybody's fight, and quite a contrast in these two boxers here. Now he's got to work and work hard.
Round 2.
Kinsella, he will try and keep this at long distance, as it were, and jab out the long left hand, and then counter. But the pressure is going to come from Baker. Now can Kinsella keep up the speed for the whole 4 rounds? 1 round gone, and they're all square. And here in the second round, Kinsella will spend a lot of his time on the back foot, moving backwards, waiting to trap his man and then counter. Baker all the time will come forward, hoping to land with the bigger punch, the heavier punch. Trying mostly to the head. It's the one that Baker isn't trying a little bit more to the body. Trying to slow down Jean-Paul Kinsella. Again, the big, strong punches are coming from Baker as he pours on the pressure. His only way of winning this is to upset the rhythm of Jean-Paul Kinsella. Kinsella would like a slower pace. But Baker has worked out a plan here. And he's probably working on the right plan, and that is to put pressure on Kinsella, upset his rhythm, and hope to catch him with a couple of big punches. I wouldn't be surprised if the corner tells Baker to try a little bit more for the body. Try and get this man to drop his hands a little bit. Now it looks as if this second round is not going to be too much in it either. Baker always working, hands going all the time. Not quite as accurate though, and there's the end of the round, and I think Baker a little bit disappointed that he didn't land with a big one there.
Big lungs. Suck it. Right?
Well, Nugget Nugent there in the corner is trying to urge his man on to get inside and land with some of those big punches. I mean, the game plan from both Nugget Nugent and Paul Baker will be, as always, walk forward, hands high, and he does have a very high, tight defense. And you will see here that Jean-Paul Kinsella finds it very difficult to get through that. Paul Baker coming in with big swinging left hooks, but Kinsella is doing fine. He's boxing the right kind of fight, staying away from Baker and trying to pick off the clean punches. But Paul Baker, on the other hand, is certainly the man to beat here. He's going to be pressing forward, looking for the big punches all the time. But Noel wondered if Kinsella would be able to stick the distance. Well, he's always a supremely fit young boxer.
And off we go now for the second round, and Baker is the one who's edging in front here. 4 points to 2. Kinsella will be pleased about that. He was holding him and hitting him at the same time. So the pressure of Baker impressed the judges in that second round. Kinsella is going to be a little bit more accurate with scoring his punches here. No spoiling, a bit of holding. Now it's the power of Baker, the accuracy of Kinsella. And Kinsella's timing perhaps going a little bit off now in this round. This is round 3 now. There's signs of weariness in Kinsella. Walks onto a big right hand. It does counter well, but the better punch seemed to come from Baker. Baker slings it out again, not accurate this time. Bit of spoiling now in this third round. Kinsella is trying to settle down with that left-hand jab. He's not getting power into it, and that's the big punch again. The dangerous punches are coming from Baker. He looks in one good left hook to the chin, then it's working to the body now. And that's what I think could slow down Kinsella altogether, those body punches. And boy, what a slugging match at the center of the ring there. Some good, solid punches from either man. Neither one giving much ground here in this. Well, it turned out to be quite a thriller. And there's that left hook to the body sinking in. Baker using the body punch in that third round. And that's beginning to take a lot of the wind from John Paul Kinsella, the champion. So we're in for a bit of a surprise here. And he looks a weary, tired champion in the corner.
Again, very close. There, you're catching him. Right. So we'll have to go and all this round, I think. All over this round. We're going to have to throw a lot of punches.
Well, John Paul Kinsella certainly in there where he shouldn't be, right inside close. Paul Baker is the bigger hitter on the inside. Baker landing those hard hooks into the body, and they should score. I'm sure the Baker corner will be hoping that the judges will be watching those very, very good body punches, despite the fact that one of them strayed a little bit around the back. But John Paul Kinsella has it all to do here now.
Second round. Fourth and final round.
Well, that indeed was a great round for Paul Baker, and we're in for a little bit of an upset here. The champion has title slipping away from him. He's only 2 minutes in which to make up the ground. He's throwing everything he has at it here. That's John Paul Kinsella, the reigning champion, against this tough, rugged man from Belfast, Paul Baker. Baker, a hard punching boxer, and Kinsella is taking terrible chances in this last round. Maybe that's all he can do now at this stage. He's so far behind, he's got to slug it out. Whereas Baker likes that kind of a fight. He's able to stand at the center of the ring and punch away. And punches well to the body and to the head. He hooks well with the left hand very often to the body. So those punches of Kinsella's don't have the real power behind them. They're almost what they call arm punches. Whereas Baker gets power into his punches, particularly those short ones. That's a little bit better from Kinsella. But he's still not getting as much power into the punch. And there he's giving him a standing count. He was caught with a good one. It was a good, clean punch from Baker. The referee gives him a standing count. He's disappointed at that. No points deducted for that, for the count on its own. He's trying to fight his way back. He's a brave one. He's not going to let his title slip away easily. John Paul Kinsella pulling out all the stop, but Baker is the harder hitter, the stronger man. And all he's got to do is to hold his own in this last round when he has the title. That's Paul Baker from Belfast. But Kinsella has taken quite an amount of punishment, but he's still there with quite an amount of fight left in him. It's been a good scrap at light flyweight. The crowd enjoyed it all the way through. A good left hook there. This is a good round for Kinsella. At this part of it anyway, he hooks again with the left hand. And that's it, it's all over. Quite a good round there. And Kinsella, well, he probably left it too late. Possibly Kinsella didn't do enough work in the opening round. That's when he should have been scoring with cleaner punches. But that's a great contest, very enjoyable all the way through.
Well, Paul Baker there should be quite a happy man. He did carry all the power. He did have the tighter defense. He certainly threw the harder punches. J.P. Kinsella, on the other hand, was throwing punches. His chin was sticking up in the air a little bit and was getting caught. When they started exchanging punches, it was always Baker's bigger punches that were going to hurt.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together officially for both boxers. Excellent contest.
Yes, indeed, a great scrap, that one.
And the holder of the Tommy Connolly Perpetual Challenge Cup for the year 2003 by a computer scoring of 20 points to 8, and the new flyweight champion of Ireland.
A new champion, and although he's not from Dublin, he's still a popular winner. Disappointment for the Dublin fans, but Paul Baker from Immaculata, a clear winner in the end there. The harder hitter, the stronger man, and in the end, the better boxer. So it's a loss for the champion and a win for Paul Baker.
Undoubtedly the best contest that we've seen at the stadium so far here tonight. The victory then going to Belfast and to Paul Baker. What a great battle and a great effort by John Paul Kinsella. We'll be hoping to talk to the winner, and we have more live boxing. Well, so then the presentation of the Tommy Connolly Perpetual Trophy to Paul Baker, the winner of that last contest that we saw before the commercial break. Excellent contest. A very happy Paul Baker. In fact, we're going to find out how happy he is because Paul is with me right now. Paul, congratulations to you. Not just a great contest, not just a great win, but revenge as well for you.
For the last 2 years, he beat me in the final 2 years ago. That was for the World Championships by 2 points. And last year he beat me in the semi-finals by just 2 points as well. But I sort of froze last time and was 7-1 down at the first. So it was a bit hard from then because he's a non-stop puncher. And that's his style, and it's hard to come back. He was poorly got.
He knew he was in trouble, obviously, the last round. He came out, threw everything at you, and ended up taking a standing count.
Well, I just tucked up and just swung a big right hook over when I could. But I knew he was going to come out because that's his style. He comes out and throws non-stop punches. And I'm not that type of style. I'm a power puncher, so I just had to cover up and just swing a few hooks around.
All right, Paul, we're going to go and let you get towelled down. Congratulations once again, and a great contest. Thank you very much indeed. Paul Baker there, the winner of the last contest, and that's going to allow me to introduce Mick Dowling again. Looking forward, Mick, to the next contest. This between Stephen Orban from Porryvale here in Dublin, of course, and Eamon Toohey from Moulton, County Westmeath.
Well, Michael, we weren't disappointed with that last fight, but this particular one coming up here now is also going to be a thriller because both of these boys come to fight. Orban is 19 years old, Toohey at 17 years old, and I've been very, very impressed with young Toohey this year. He's had a wonderful year, but in saying that, Orban is in great shape, and there will be no referee needed in this either.
No, but we do need a commentator, and that commentator, of course, is Noel Andrews.
Yes, indeed, and here's the champion, Stephen Orban from Porryvale in Dublin. And Toohey, I don't know whether he's stepping up to a high level at a very young age. He's only 17, and here he is into senior boxing. His first season at this level of boxing, but he's been doing remarkably well. He's a great record at underage boxing, and here he is now right into the top rank. He's from Moulton, County Westmeath. And this is his big night. Stephen Orban, the reigning champion. Now we've already seen one champion defeated. Let hope. Well, I don't know. He'll hope anyway. Well, he does this one. Two very promising boxers. each in their teens.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next contest of the evening is the final of the 57-kilogram featherweight division. It's contested over 4 two-minute rounds, and it features, in the red part of this evening, boxing out of the Quarryville Amateur Boxing Club Dublin. Ladies and gentlemen, would you give it up for Stephen Ormond? And his opponent across the ring in line in the blue corner, proudly boxes out of the Moat Amateur Boxing Club, County Westmeath. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to Dublin, Dewey. And the referee for this contest is Miss Sadie Duffy, Ulster. Good luck now.
And indeed, we have a lady ref now, and that's Sadie Duffy. We go for this final at featherweight. In red here is Stephen Ormond, the reigning champion in red, and Eamon Toohey, the new boy at this class of boxing. Eamon Toohey from Mountain County, Westmeath, in blue. Boxing remarkably well this last year or so. Has won a lot of contests in underage boxing. Ormond has the edge in top class experience, though. He won the senior title last year. And Toohey was a little bit lucky to get this far, in the sense that he got a walk over Harry Cunningham, who withdrew from the championship. Perhaps he could have done with that contest to bring him on. Ormond wants to take command early in this contest. He's coming forward, loses balance. Toohey, a clever boxer, uses the ring well, jabs well with the left hand. But Ormond trying to crowd him in this opening round. Very important to dictate the fight in the opening round. And try and let your opponent know that you're the boss. That's exactly what Ormond is trying to do in this opening round. But that's a good counter. That's a good sinking right hand to the body from Toohey. Toohey has a good variety of punches. He's only 17. There again, he makes his man miss and counters well. This is developing into a good scrap, and this is the opening round. And there's the end of the round. And it's difficult to separate them. It's anybody's contest, this one so far.
Well, Stephen Ormond there, and he's being told 3 punches all the time. Ormond is fighting the type of fight that I expected him to fight. He's pressing forward. That's his style. He never takes a step backwards. On the other hand, Eamon Toohey always on the back foot, but countering very well. He's a nice mover, good footwork as well. So there's not an awful lot between the two of them at this stage, but Ormond will continue to press forward for the 4 rounds.
And indeed, Toohey in front. No, sorry, Ormond in front by 6-3. After that first round, as we go for round 2, but it's still anybody's contest, this one.
Round 2.
Out we go in the second round. I'm surprised in a way that Ormond is so far in front. 3 points of the difference, which is quite considerable, because Toohey has landed with some good accurate punches. But Ormond now will feel comfortable, particularly knowing he's in front, and he'll continue to put pressure on Toohey. So he's putting it up to Toohey to do something special. It was Ormond's plan. He must say to himself, well, it's working for me. But Toohey has got to change his approach. He's been relying on the counter punch and counter punching fairly well. Ormond, Quarryvale, from Dublin. Toohey from County Westmeath from Mull. Oh, the work is coming from Ormond there, although he again loses balance. But he looped in a couple of good punches there. Chasing after Toohey. He doesn't want Toohey to settle down in this contest. He wants to dominate the pace. Been urged on by his corner. Ormond to keep up the pressure, keep up the pressure. Don't let him off the hook at all. Toohey trying to settle down and counter with punches, which he does there. This is quite a good scrap, this one. And again, he whips in the left hook. Now, Toohey, as he missed timing some of his punches there, scoring one with the left, but misses completely with his right hand. And there's a sign of weariness in Toohey, I think, at the end of that second round.
Here now, look, you're making
well, Stephen Ormond there is certainly doing all the pressing and getting caught with a few shots there as well. But he's fighting the fight that that's his uncle Greg Ormond in the corner, was quite a useful fighter himself in his day at box international level. But he's fighting the right kind of fight, putting pressure on the younger man, not giving Toohey much chance to counter. But on the inside too, he's trying that uppercut and is getting through occasionally. But also Ormond nailed him with one or two good left hooks, perhaps out of those crouches inside. Well, you can hear Ormond there telling Gregory Ormond telling his man to throw 3, 4, and 5 on the inside.
Right, you shouldn't even be that down.
No, step in and out.
It's only 4 punches.
Second off.
Here you are, Eamon. It's only 4 punches.
Round 3.
But now we see the score with Ormond forging ahead now. He's 10 points to 6 in front altogether. So Toohey has got all the work to do. That's Toohey in blue with Ormond continuing as he did in the opening round to come forward and punch away with both hands. Toohey has been trying to make a miss and counter, but he's got to do more than that. And coming out of those exchanges there, Ormond loops him with one good left hand to the chin. And they're the ones that catch the eye of the judges as he breaks away and loops in with that big left hand. All the time, the corner, the men in Ormond's corner urging him on, come forward, don't let this man settle down. And there again, cracks home a good right hand. And Toohey, he's only 17, finding the pace a bit hot. Ormond, only a little older, he's at 19, but these are two very promising boxers at featherweight. But it's a new experience for Toohey to box at this level, to come right up. Final for the Irish senior title. But I think his day will come. It may not be today. Ormond pushing him back all the time now. I think the punching power has gone from Toohey. Unless he can pull out a surprise punch here. He's beginning to look weary and beginning to fade, but he'll still try, still hoping to land the big right hand. There, he's backed into a corner. Almost caught with a big swinging right hand there. And there, a few tapping blows at the end. And it's a tired Eamon Toohey back to his corner.
Well, the game plan from the Ormond corner was definitely to put the pressure on, and he hasn't given Eamon Toohey a chance to breathe. He's just staying on top of him. You can hear his uncle Gregory Ormond telling him to stay on top of him, throwing 1, 2, 3 shots, not giving young Eamon Toohey a chance at all to do any decent countering at all. I think the style is and the pressure, I think, is starting to take its toll on young Eamon Toohey.
Punch him. You've got to come up with a punch him and go on. 27. You have to stop him, Eamon. Come on.
Well, the Tuhi camp, I think, are realising at this stage that they need a tremendous round here, perhaps a stoppage if they're going to win this.
Oh, we need something special. Something very special in this one. He's forging ahead 10-1 in that round there, which brings it to 20 points to 7. So he's way ahead now at this stage. And the contest may not go the full distance. No, he'd hate to see it stopped at this stage too. He would like to go the full distance here. He's put in a brave display here. He's caught with a few hard punches. He's beginning to slow down. But here he starts the round well again and catches Ormond with a good right hand. But how can he last it 2 minutes? He scored well with one good right hand. But Ormond will still go back to the same pattern, pushing his man back. The game plan has worked. Tuohy punching away to the body, but to no real avail. Ormond still won't back off. Ormond will come forward. Corner urging him on throughout this contest to keep from coming forward and not allow Tuohy to introduce his style of boxing. Tuohy, a good counter puncher, good defensive boxer, but he's up against the reigning champion here. And Ormond with that edge of top-class experience, of senior boxing experience. And Tuohy gets in a few punches there, but I don't think there's any zip or power left in them at this stage. But he looks a weary, tired boxer. And this is the final round. And it certainly looks as if the champion, Stephen Ormond, will hold on to that title at featherweight. And deservedly so. A hard battle. Cruel as it may seem for Eamon Tuohy, but this man has won it again, held on to his title, so I would imagine.
Well, without doubt, the Ormond plan was correct. Put on a lot of pressure. Just don't give this kid room to breathe. Ormond just set a pace and said, if you can stay with me, well and good. But young Eamon Tuohy, I think, found that the move up from intermediate boxing to senior boxing was just one step too far. Ormond just fights like his dad used to, like his uncle used to. Pressure, pressure, pressure all the time. Winging in punches, never taking a step backwards. There's no doubt about it. Stephen Ormond loves to go forward, loves a good fight, and he certainly got a good fight tonight. And young Tuohy, while he will have lost this fight, he needn't be too disappointed. He put up a good performance.
Holder of the Ulster Provincial Council Perpetual Challenge Cup for the year 2003 by a computer scoring of 26 points to 9, and still featherweight champion of Ireland, Ormond in the red corner.
Yes, a clear-cut win at the end. I don't mind the score. It was a hard battle for both boxers here, but always in front was Stephen Ormond, and he's champion once again against a very game boxer whom I think we'll see again fairly soon. He's only 17.
Back here at the National Senior Championships finals in the National Stadium in Dublin. We're ready for the next contest. This at light welterweight between Paul McCluskey from St. Canice's in Derry. He's taking on Michael Kelly from Dalgan in County Louth. McCluskey, a national championship winner. Michael Kelly too, a winner in 2001 when he beat McCluskey. That's the background to the contest. Noel Andrews again, the commentator.
Well, we've plenty of experience in the ring here of these two boxers. Paul McCluskey, age 23. And Michael Kelly from County Louth on our left. Anthony Donnelly in his corner there for Michael Kelly. Michael Kelly from the Dalgan Boxing Club, County Louth. And he's the world military champion on 2 occasions. But McCluskey is the reigning Irish senior champion at light welterweight. Now, it's difficult to forecast a winner in this one. This could be quite a bout, this one. They know a lot about each other because they've boxed before. And Kelly on his day can be really good. He's trying to be a little bit hot and cold. He's age 26 and he's been around for a few years. McCluskey has been very busy. McCluskey, southpaw. Now, McCluskey lost to Kelly 2 years ago in these championships. McCluskey has been a regular here at the stadium. In fact, one man who kept him out some years ago was Francie Barrett. Tame, and it will expect to be tame at the start of this contest here as they try to size up each other. They have a lot of respect for each other, these boys. Michael Kelly from Dalgan in blue. He was one of the favourites here last year and was beaten by Roy Sheehan, who in turn lost to McCluskey in the final. So on paper, this should be a close contest, this one. The records are almost the same as far as standard is concerned. And they each have quite an amount of experience, and they know the game inside out. There's always a danger in a contest like this that they know a little bit too much, and they do a fair amount of spoiling because they've so much regard for each other. They're trying to watch to get the other fellow to walk into a trap so that he can upset him. But it's not going to be easy here. 2 cagey boxers here.
Well, Paul McCluskey there, he's a very, very relaxed fighter. I love watching him. I love his style. He's so cute and clever. The way he just leans in, leans out, draws his man on. But I think Michael Kelly is aware of that sort of style. As we've heard Noel say there, Kelly has beaten him previously. McCluskey leans back, but Kelly knows that, and I think he'll throw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and hope that he will catch him with the following 3rd, 4th or 5th punch. But it's a really interesting contest here. It's sort of boxer-fighter versus pure boxer.
Well, there's no plus points scored in this contest so far. As we come up for the second round, and McCluskey is given credit for 2 points and 0 to Michael Kelly. So in order to score a point, 3 of the judges must clearly see a good clean punch and identify it by pressing the button within a second or so on their computer. No press button. 3 of them don't coincide, and then there's no score. It's a little bit complicated, but it usually produces a good result. Southpaw McCluskey now in red. St. Canice's Boxing Club. That's in Dungiven in County Derry. Michael Kelly from Dalgan. World Army champion. Those championships were run on the Colony last year, and he won that title for the 2nd time, the World Military Championship. This is the one he wants to win now, Kelly. He wants to be Irish champion at light welterweight. That's 64 kilos. McCluskey picks his punches well. Kelly is not getting the timing correctly. He's not landing the punches all that well. He's a bit short and a bit confused at times. He sees the opportunity to land the right hand, throws it, but for some reason, McCluskey never seems to be there. McCluskey is good at fading in front of the punch. A bit careless there, the way he drops his head. There he steals a point once again. And this kind of pace is suiting McCluskey, I think. This kind of slow pace. and he's not allowing Kelly to settle into his own rhythm.
Well, there's no doubt about it. McCluskey must be very pleased with the way things are going. The pace is nice and slow, and Michael Kelly is just finding it extremely difficult to get to Paul McCluskey. McCluskey is so cute, so clever to read what's happening, slips in with his own 1-2 while Kelly is trying to get set. So McCluskey is beating Kelly to the punch all of the time. I think Anto Donnelly in Michael Kelly's corner, he knows that if he's going to win this fight, he's going to have to shift up not only one gear, but 2 or 3 more gears, because he's going to have to put an awful lot of pressure on Paul McCluskey if he's to get some scores.
This you have to get the lead in. Hands high, don't stand back. He's going to be holding everything. Look what he's holding.
Second down.
Yes, he's increasing it now. 5 points to 2 now in favour of McCluskey, but it's still possible to pull back those 3 points, but not very likely. He'll have to change his approach, and he'll have to increase the pace in this contest, because the pace is slow and it's suiting McCluskey. And there's a lot of spoiling going on in it. There again, the cleaner hitter. See, McCluskey knows exactly what to do in here. It seems to suit him, this style of boxing. This computer system of scoring the point, then spoiling a bit, picking up a few. Only pick up 1 or 2 points in the round and keep the other fella at bay. That's enough. Low scoring contest this. Much quieter in the corner. Kelly tries to open up the contest here and make it into a bit of a scrap. Tries to sink in that right hand of the body. But McCluskey is a deceptive sort of boxer. He doesn't look as if he has a great defense, but when you go to try to hit him, he never seems to be there. Covers up well arms and elbows. And again, Kelly's corner are urging him to try and speed up this contest, but once again he runs into a left hand to the face. Paul McCluskey, the reigning champion from County Derry. And that's the end of another fairly tame round. But I don't think there'll be any complaints from this corner here, because they're edging away in front slowly but surely. Paul McCluskey, the champion.
Well, there's no doubt about it that Michael Kelly will surely have it all to do here, and McCluskey here with his coach Vinnie Harkin will surely be a happy man. You know, it looked as though he was going to be the Cinderella man of amateur boxing when he lost close decisions in 2000 and 2001 when he finally got it right last year, and it looks as though he's going to get it right this year. But nevertheless, Michael Kelly has piled on a lot more pressure in that round, and he's going to need a very good round if he's going to sneak this title here tonight.
Final round.
Well, there's encouragement here from the crowd, particularly for Kelly. They want to see a little more action here. And the score is 6 points to 3 at this stage. So it's still there to win for Kelly, but he'll have to do something extra special, come from behind, score with a few good clean punches and upset McCluskey. But McCluskey has been in command all the way through, setting the pace, boxing the way he wants to box, spoiling and tying up and frustrating Kelly from time to time. Kelly at this stage wants a war. He wants to loosen up the fight. But McCluskey is picking him off again. Beautiful left-hand work there from McCluskey. McCluskey to southpaw, countering well with the left hand on a couple of occasions. He places those punches well, picks his spot. And Kelly His game plan is not quite sure what it is. He said he wants to loosen it up, but he can't get through the defense of McCluskey. Very slippery customer. The word from Kelly's corner is stay in when he gets inside. Stay in. Keep throwing punches. But every time he makes a mistake, McCluskey is there to counter. Well, I'm afraid he's too much to do in this last round. Well, I can't say he didn't try. He's been trying all the way through. Gets through with a big one there, Kelly. But there's a reply from McCluskey. And Kelly being urged on and beginning to find his target towards the end, but it's possibly too late. McCluskey, well, he feels he's the winner. And I think most of us do.
Well, it just goes to show you what fast reflexes and good reading of the fight can do for you. You know, he's got good footwork, really fast reflexes, and he kept reading everything that Michael Kelly was going to do. Here you can see he just slips in 1, 2, 3. Once Kelly opens up his guard at all, McCluskey is in like a shot, lands his punches and gets away again. And he's so difficult to hit. You know, we watched Kenneth Egan earlier on, and you know, what a fight if you had McCluskey in with Kenneth Egan. They both have very, very similar styles of boxing.
And the winner of that star-sponsored contest and the holder of the Garda Síochána Amateur Boxing Club Trophy for the year 2003 by a computer scoring of 10 points to 4, and still light featherweight champion of Ireland, McCluskey in the red corner.
Yes, confirmation of what we all felt there. He wins that last round by 4-1, making it a 10-4 win in the contest. And he's champion once again, Paul McCluskey.
God bless you. Well done.
Still more boxing to come here at the National Championship Finals at the National Stadium in Dublin. James Moore for Arklow and Thomas Blaney from the West Side Club in Dublin. That's coming up after this commercial break.
Finals, proudly sponsored by the Star.
Yes, there's Paul McCluskey, the winner of our last contest that you saw before the break. It's a new company's hands there because it's a slightly different weight division, but he's still a national champion. Paul McCluskey is with us right now. Paul, many congratulations on that victory. That was an important one for you because he's beaten you in 2001, of course.
Yeah, Mikey beat me 2 years ago when he's a quality fighter, you know. He's recently this year he's been world military champion, so you don't think boys will get lightly. I knew how to be on my game, you know.
You took it very cautiously.
Yeah, that's my style of fighting.
Yeah.
I'm a counter puncher, like, you know, I'm hard to hit. I want to make him have to try and punish you, you know, but Mickey's got a good defence, he's tough, durable. He put me around there for 4 rounds and it was tough for me.
Well, obviously you knew you were up against it, but you came through it in the end. You must be delighted with that win again.
Yeah, everything. I've been training really hard. It's my first fight this year.
Yeah.
I've been really sharp in every fight. And I was beating Mickey to the punch early on. And that's how I knew early on, that's how I knew I was going to win the fight. I was beating him to the punch every time, so.
Ladies and
Paul, they're all happy back in Derry for that. Well done again, congratulations, and many congratulations on that win. All right, as Paul McCluskey leaves us there, we're going to bring Mick Dowling back in with us because we're going to go on, Paul. Go away. You're okay, thanks very much. James Moore from Arklow against Thomas Blaney from the West Side Club in Dublin coming up.
This certainly is one of the big ones. You know, when I saw James Moore beat Neil Goff going back in 2001, I liked him then, Michael. I like him now. He's a great fighter. He loves the big occasion, and this is a big occasion. On the other hand, Thomas Blaney has had a very, very good season, and he's put a lot of pressure on Moore. Now, Moore has beaten him already last season, yes. But nevertheless, it's all to play for here tonight, and Blaney will put the pressure on. But I think Moore's class and his big punching might finally get to Thomas Blaney.
Mick, the music says the boys are back in town. They certainly are. Here's Noel again.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next contest of the evening is the finals of the 69-kilogram welterweight division. It is contested over 4 2-minute rounds, and it features in the red corner this evening, representing the Arklow Amateur Boxing Club, County Wicklow. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stadium, James Moore. And his opponent across the ring, the man in the blue corner, proudly boxes out of the West Side Amateur Boxing Club, Dublin. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stadium, Thomas Blaney. Your referee for this contest is Mr. Kieran O'Neill Leinster.
Well, if people were asked who's the best boxer in Ireland at the moment, many would say it's James Moore from Arklow. He's the big star of the last couple of years, and he's going to hold on his title, at least so he says. But his opposition here is Thomas Blaney from Westside, here in Dublin. A fair bit of a following, but it's a big step up for him. Blaney, normally a slowish starter, and he'll want to get started a bit early against Moore here. Moore is always busy. Moore putting on pressure straight away. He's not going to let this fellow Blaney settle down, possibly. There, he picks him off with a good left hand. Strange thing, Blaney, on winning his way to the final, lost the earlier part of each of his contests, but in the last round he was able to come from behind and win. Oh, I wonder will he be able to do it here? I don't know. But imagine he'd try and get a few points in the bag early this time. You wouldn't want to leave it too late against James Moore. Moore is a good puncher. You're told to keep the punches up. Moore watching with his style as if to say, I'm the boss of this opening round. Moore is a world-class amateur boxer. Won a bronze medal in the World Championships. He's a great reputation in international boxing. He's almost full-time boxer. He spends a lot of his time in the gym. Aims a right hand to the body there, but doesn't really score with it. Blaney, an awkward enough boxer. Works quite well off the right hand jab. Hasn't really got the timing right as yet. Blocking a lot of those punches. They're making noise, but they're not scoring all that much. Blaney, a good counter puncher, but he's up against a very clever one in Moore. And there's the end of the opening round. Well, tame enough opening round, but there's plenty of time left.
Well, James Moore will be very pleased with that round anyway. He has been stalking Thomas Blaney all around the ring. He doesn't just run in, he thinks it out very well. He's very cute, big long punches, but when he gets in, he rips in good hard body shots. You know, they're really difficult shots to take, and I think Thomas Blaney was finding them very, very hard in around the ribs. That's James Moore's dad there, Jim Moore, the excellent coaches. Great club going down there in Arklow. But young James Moore, as Noel said, is a world-class fighter. And Thomas Blaney is going to have his hands full if he's going to hold him at bay.
Second loud.
Well, indeed, the scoring there a bit severe on Blaney, I think. 11-0. But he'll be very disappointed at that. He's got to do something to get into this contest. As I said earlier, he's always a slowish starter, but not as slow as that. He's got to do something very special here, because if he falls behind by 20 points, the referee, the timekeeper, will stop it altogether. Blocks a lot of the punches, but still Moore is edging his way in there. Moore, age 24, an electrician, but spends most of his time training and boxing. There's one good clean punch there from Blaney. I hope the judges saw that one, but there's a better one in reply. He caught Moore with one good right hand, but didn't have the Didn't make the Wicklow man even flinch. Moore stalking his man around the ring here. He won't let up. When a boxer falls behind like that and starts going back on the back foot, it's very hard for him to fight his way back into the contest. But still, it's one-way traffic in this second round. Blaney a bit too soon, perhaps, to move into this level. Well then, we said earlier, Moore, we're talking class. There wouldn't be too many boxers in Europe that could beat James Moore, if any. Looks comfortable now in this second round. Just coasting along. Sinks them into the body and to the head. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, does he get a standing count from Kieran O'Neill, the referee, or is he going to stop it? I think it's a point of no return now. Now, is that the end of the round or is the end of the contest?
Well, if only Thomas Blaney had the fast reflexes of Paul McCluskey or Kenneth Egan. You know, he is a southpaw. His style should be moving and snapping and running and not getting in close with James Moore. But Moore just keeps cutting down the ring. The old saying in boxing, you can run but you can't hide, and Thomas Blaney just has nowhere to go, and Moore's power punches are getting to him. Blaney was a very, very good youth, took some time out of boxing then, came back, and has had a good 2 years in, but he's finding this move up to senior boxing, especially against a class senior fighter like James Moore, a little bit too much for him.
Howdy, Jackie.
And indeed, with the score and the way it is now, at 18-1, I don't think it's going to last much longer. Another few points, and the contest will automatically be stopped. The southpaw Blaney, well, I always say he was in with one of Ireland's best boxers in James Moore, but he's finding it very difficult. But he's trying, and he'll keep trying, but Moore, calling on all his experience, never gives a bad performance, James Moore. He's always trained right to the top level, honed to perfection. Trained, of course, by his dad, Jim Moore, in Arklow. And he's boxing at his own pace now, sinks in a few more body shots. And that's it. They've decided it's all over. He's the winner. He's too far behind on points. He's disappointed, Blaney. But the score is way out. He's 20 points ahead. And automatically the bell rings and Moore is the champion.
Well, I think it wasn't any more than we expected. I think most people expected James Moore. I think all people expected, perhaps even Blaney himself may have expected James Moore to win, but perhaps not in the fashion that he did, to stop him inside the distance on that 20-point rule. But James Moore is such a powerful fighter, such a deliberate fighter. As I said earlier, I liked him when I saw him in 201 when he beat Neil Goff. I still like him. I think his style is very good. He's a very relaxed kind of fighter.
Both boxers. Thank you. And the winner of that star-sponsored contest and the holder of a Martin Humpton perpetual trophy for the year 2003 by a computer scoring, by an amateur boxing computer scoring of the 20-point rule. And still welterweight champion of Ireland, Moore in the red corner.
Yes, he's a champion once again, and what a great champion he is. Disappointment for Blaney, but he'll have another day, I suppose. But James Moore is the champion, and it looks as if he'll be champion for quite a few years to come.
And James Moore, the still champion, welterweight champion of Ireland, would like to wish his sister Linda a very, very happy birthday. Happy birthday to Linda from the pride of Arklow, James Moore.
Well, it was easy, if it's ever easy in a boxing ring, I suppose, for James Moore from Arklow, in a different league to his opponent, it has to be said, in that last Thomas Blaney. I suppose Mick Dowling did his best, but it just simply wasn't going to be good enough.
Well, Blaney, as I said, had a little time out of the ring, came back, and he's had a good 2 years, but he'll come again, but certainly not in the same division as James Moore, because Moore is just too powerful for any of his opponents here in this country.
Okay, Mick, we are coming to the end of our transmission now, but we do want to refer back to some of the earlier contests, because we missed one or two. From the first contest here tonight, Paul Hyland beat Thomas Lee in the flyweight division. We want to have a look at the next fight, or a little clip from the next fight. This between Andy Lee and Damon O'Kane.
Well, Andy Lee from Limerick is really one of the coming stars, and is a present star of Irish amateur boxing. He's a lovely style, Michael. Tall, southpaw, very clever fighter. Again, one of these guys that's a nightmare to fight. Very skillful fighter, and the type of boxer that will do well in European Games, World Championships or Olympics.
We're going to have a look at this, and we're picking this up at...
I think we may perhaps be picking it up in the second or third round.
This is the third round indeed. Thanks very much, Mick.
The final round. The gap increases. Away he goes. 21 points to 6 now. Lee still in control, and O'Kane urged on in his corner there to pull out all the stops and try and stop this man, try and catch up. Damage beneath the left eye, not very serious damage to O'Kane. And he's certainly a brave fighter and showing great courage here, making a fight of it. But finding it almost impossible. And there's a sinking, rip-rolling left hook to the body from Lee. And still, O'Kane will come forward. O'Kane doesn't know the word to stop or to back off. He'll still come forward. But Lee ties him up, covers up his own defense. There's a little bit of dangerous use at the head. And still the pressure comes forward here. The pressure from O'Kane. But alas, there's nothing else he can do. That's the only way he can win this, is by chasing his man around the ring. But most of his punches have no real power behind them. He lands with a few. His corner are jumping up and down, urging him on to land the big punch. But Lee still cool. He'll know he was in a fight, though, in this last round, as the crowd cheer on this brave display by Eamon O'Kane. Well, he's a fit boxer. He's been outclassed in the early part of the contest, but he's still coming forward, still throwing punches, still hoping to land a 1-2 good punches and dump this man on the floor. But it's out of the question now, because there's the bell. Well, Lee, a clear winner, I should think, but he'll know he was in a scrap. He had to work hard in the latter part of that contest. So a brave man, Eamon O'Kane.
Yeah, Eamon O'Kane gave it his best shot, Mick, but I think Andy Lee was just that little bit better in the end.
I think so, Michael. O'Kane's style was always tailor-made, I think, for Andy Lee. One of the real stars of Irish amateur boxing, was a very clear winner.
Okay, the other contest that we didn't see now, by the way, this is the heavyweight contest between Alan Reynolds and Thomas Donnelly, and Reynolds won this one comfortably enough.
Well, Reynolds is another one of our stars, and he's one of the guys we should be looking forward to now. This is a very important year. You know, Alan Reynolds is a good, tough fighter, good combination puncher as well, and this is an important year for us. While next year is the Olympic year, this year for us is important because it is World Championships in Bangkok in July.
What can we expect in July in those World Championships?
Plenty of hard fights, Michael. It's going to be very, very difficult. But, you know, anybody looking at tonight's fights here, we have a lot of good talent. I like the kind of talent where the boys are boxing and moving. Like Lee, like, Reynolds, of course, good fighter. Like McCluskey. That type of fighting will do extremely well, I think, in the World Championships. And hopefully then next year in the Olympic Games as well.
Okay, Mick Dowling, thank you very much.